Well, there we go. This is my first time after the jingle. Never had a jingle intro before, but there we go. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the AWS Brighton user group. Thank you very much for coming along to join us and network with us and learn all about AWS. We're going to have a reInvent recap talk from Matheus Guimaraes after these introductions, but let me just walk through the agenda. So we're just going to spend 10 minutes talking about the AWS Brighton user group and our wonderful supporters, Silicon Brighton, and of course our sponsors, Logicata, from where I am based. Then Matheus is going to give us his reInvent recap talk, recapping all of the announcements from reInvent 2024 in Las Vegas. And at the end, there's going to be a fantastic interactive quiz. So hopefully you've all got mobile phones with signal. There's Wi-Fi on the wall behind you. Well, there's a Wi-Fi code on the wall behind you if you need to get on the Wi-Fi to participate in the quiz. And of course, wouldn't be the AWS Brighton user group without swag. So we've got loads of swag for people to win in the quiz. So once we're finished, we'll have a bit more networking. We don't want to have to take all of this drinks home with us. So if you can help us make a dent in that, we have to carry it all downstairs and it has to go in John's car. And if any of you have ever seen John's car, it's not really big enough for John, let alone all of the leftover drinks that we might have. So there we go. The event is being recorded, hence the wonderful jingle. If you don't wish to be included in any photographs or video content, please speak to us or a member of the Silicon Brighton team. So who am I? My name is Carl Robinson. I am an AWS community builder, as you might have gathered in the cloud operations category, which basically means that I create content about cloud operations on AWS. I'm also the CEO and co-founder of Logicata, which is an AWS partner. I'll talk a little bit more about that later. That is my link tree. I've got loads of links to all the wonderful content that I create. So if you want to scan it, you can find out more about me and follow my content and my socials. John, if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm John. Got to do some comedy somewhere. Don't get it enough. So yeah, hi, I'm John. I work for him, so I don't know, put his fires out and do what he tells me. I'm also an AWS community builder, though I'm not wearing the shirt because we have so much of the same swag. I have to work very hard not to clash. Are we wearing the same socks, or are we? No, we're good. Cribble. Okay. I'm a community builder in a proper category, the serverless category. So I talk about actual things, not just like, oh, here's how you use the cloud. Here's how you do stuff serverlessly, which is really cool. Can I milk the blog post? Can I do that? So, right, yes, that's my link tree, which was also my idea. If you go on there, you'll find all the stuff that I do and write and podcast, because I'm a white bearded man in tech. Of course, I have a podcast. Couple of giggles, that one usually works. This is good. And you can find stuff that I write and all about all sorts of crap that I do. And yeah, I work for Logicata too, doing what he tells me mostly and complaining about it constantly. Steve. Oh, man. I've removed probationary too.
Thanks you very, very much. I'm not wearing the AWS swag, because I don't have enough of it yet. Never mind, later. And I don't work for Logicata. I work for a company called Risk Ledger in London, formerly a Chiron Medical Technologies. I just use AWS a lot, which is why I'm here to learn just as much as everybody else and have a really good time talking about stuff, because we're geeky like that. And that's fine. And the rest of the time, I'm the guy that helps bring up the bees and the pizza and make sure that people are comfy and happy and welcomed. But that's me. Thank you, guys.
Cool. Back to me. Great to have Steve on board helping us organize. It's no longer just the Logicata show. We feel like a proper community now, that we've got community members getting involved in helping out, which is absolutely fantastic to see. So there's a link tree to everything that's going on in AWS Brighton user group. We've got a bit link tree crazy. This is like barcodes 2.0. We've mentioned Logicata a couple of times. Shameless plug for Logicata. We pay for the beer and pizza, so I'm allowed to tell you what we do. Logicata is an AWS Advanced partner. We provide managed AWS services for SMB, mostly ISV businesses. So we help people run their applications in the AWS cloud. Was there lots of TLA? Small and medium businesses, independent software vendors, founder-led independent software vendors in the small and medium business category. All non-technical TLAs, though, of course. So yeah, but that's Logicata. We are also generously sponsored by FreedomWorks, who have allowed us to use their wonderful co-working venue. Do you want to say anything about FreedomWorks? Or yeah, go for it. Yeah.
Hello, everyone. So my name's Maya. I'm a community manager here at FreedomWorks. So for those of you who don't know, we are a co-working space across the Southeast that offer flexible workspace. So this is was the newest one. We've now got one in Horsham, so that's 10 spaces now. Offer things like meeting rooms, hot desks, dedicated desks, event space, like for stuff like this, private offices and virtual offices too. And that's all inclusive, Wi-Fi, teas, coffees, biscuits, access to our community events, and our partnership with Barclays Eagle Labs as well, who can offer free business support. So that's all on a flexible membership. And these flexible packages allow new businesses and freelancers to get access to somewhere to work in the South Coast as well as a great community where they can get peer support to help their business grow. That's part of a big job. Part of my job as well is to kind of help foster that collaborative community. So we do that through hosting regular events like this with Silicon Brighton. We work a lot with these guys, and they're great. So we love doing that. We've also hosted a couple of green SEO meetups as well. I've got another one of those in April, so that's really good. Do things like quarterly shared lunches and charity cake sales too, and free beer Fridays, which is always very popular. As I also mentioned earlier, Barclays Eagle Labs that can offer free business advice. So that is also a really good partnership that we have there. And that's why we say we are more than just a roof over your head. So if anyone wants to hear more or is interested, I've got some cards lying around please feel free to reach out as well. But yeah, I'll hand you back over.
Thank you very much, Maya, for that introduction to FreedomWorks. And thank you again for the use of your venue. Now I'm going to hand over to Cam, without who you wouldn't be able to hear me. He is our AV aficionado. But there we go. I'll use the microphone just because it looks good. But Cam's going to tell us all about Silicon Brighton and Evolve.
Thank you very much. Could I have the clicker? Thank you very much. Hello, everyone. My name's Cameron. I work for Silicon Brighton in their community and events. And we look after a lot of different meetups, not just AWS. We all user groups, meetup groups across Brighton and Hove as the hosts of the digital tech sector. We've also thrown up one of our banners, which is the Evolve 25 banner. As well as the meetups, we're dipping our toes into running our very own conference. It's going to be a giant collaboration of all the different meetups. We've been speaking to a lot of meetup organizers, which I won't look at anyone in particular in the room. But it's shaping up to be a fantastic day. We've already locked in what the AWS or the minimum AWS involvement is going to be. Yeah, it's all good. You can all come. But yeah, so we've got tickets available. You can attend, exhibit, or sponsor following this QR code. We've only got one other QR code, so we're all right. But here are some of the other meetup groups which we support. We've got Brighton Cloud in there somewhere, as well as Breaking Bread boards, mentioning those for no reason in particular. So we've got a couple of meetup organizers in the room tonight. So if you shout Breaking Bread boards or Brighton Cloud loudly enough, they'll come and talk to you about their meetups, both of which are wonderful. But you don't have to say it 3 times. That's going to make a lot of sense for the stream. He said Beetlejuice. Yes, exactly. Like myself. Moving swiftly on to our supporters, of which we wouldn't be able to do what we do without. They support us financially with their spaces. I believe Eagle Labs are on there, which also look after FreedomWorks too. Fantastic businesses all looking out for us and our interests, as well as our meetup groups. A giant thank you to our sponsors as well. And this is the final QR code from us, which is our link tree, which takes you to our website where you can see all of the other meetups that are going on with each week. Our Slack channel as well, where we post opportunities. I think there's AWS Slack channel within our Slack Slack channel as well, so you can join the debate or the general discussions as well as job opportunities. And yeah, we're constantly looking for volunteers to help us out with what we do. So if you've got an idea for a meetup, or you like any meetup in particular, come chat to me, and I'll point you in the right direction. I believe that's me. So back to Carl. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you very much, Cameron. And Silicon Brighton, just a little bit more on what Cameron said about Evolve. John and I were lucky enough to go to reInvent in Vegas back in December. And I don't know if any of you have ever heard of a game called AWS Builder Cards. It's basically a deck building card game where you can learn about AWS while you're playing and have a bit of fun playing cards. Because what else do you do in Vegas? So the guys that built, invented the game, put a call out to all the user group leaders and said, come to me, user group leaders. I'll give you as many builder cards as you can carry. So I took him up on it. I got about 7 kilos worth of builder cards. Took them to the FedEx office, which was right next to it, because that was the deal. Come get the cards, post them back to yourself. FedEx said, that will be $450, please. So I thought, no, I'm going to go and buy a suitcase and take them in the BA hold. So we brought the builder cards all the way back from Las Vegas to play with you guys. So we're going to do our next meetup. I think we're actually going to teach you all how to play builder cards. So by the time Evolve comes around, you'll all be experts in builder cards. And I'm not suggesting that you should put any money on it, because that's not really the point of the game. But, you know, there are winners in this game. So that's what we're going to be doing at Evolve. We're going to be playing builder cards in a corner. So come and find us playing cards at a table and have some fun and learn a bit about AWS. And speaking about learning a little bit about AWS, we've got a man who knows way more about AWS than anybody else in the room. Matheus Guimaraes is a senior developer advocate. Is that still your job title, Matheus?
I think so. I don't
know. Senior developer advocate. Matheus, I don't know if any of you follow his socials, but this is now week 6 of his reInvent recap tour. So I don't know how many times he's done this talk in huge venues, tiny venues, etc. But you know, it's now completely polished because he's practiced it about 50 times. So he's going to give you an amazing presentation this evening, followed by a quiz to make sure you're paying attention. So as I mentioned before, Wi-Fi code is on the wall behind you. So if you've got a device to connect, make sure you get connected for Matheus's quiz. It's just a little bit of fun at the end, and we've got loads of swag. And again, John's little tiny car, we need to make sure that it's not going back full of swag. So we'd like to still in the, you know, on the scale of, yeah, anyway. So now, without any further ado, I need to just try and work some magic here and get Matheus's slides up on the screen. Oh, where was the beg your pardon? There it is. There we go.
There you are.
So, without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Matheus Guimaraes. Would you like some water, Matheus?
No, okay. Actually, yes, please.
Well, you've got your
I
mic.
swallowed a ton of and then it will be fine.
Over to you.
Right.
Your mic.
Thank you very much. Welcome, guys. And honestly, this, you know, you really gotta think this guy's like, it really is kind of unspoken word, the amount of work that these people put behind the scenes, right? You guys worked a full day, they have as well, and they still take the time to go just exactly say, well, your boss is right there, so you got an exception. So yes, so, you know, do support the community, do, you know, word of mouth, let all the people know about it, because as you can see, it takes a lot of, you know, production companies, you know, before the movie's made. So cool. Now, first, let me change from middle-aged costume to sparkly. So if you didn't know work for AWS, you do now. Okay, there you go. No, it gets washed. It gets washed, I promise. In between. You are at the beginning of the week, so you get the fresh one. Yeah. So I'm not doing death by PowerPoint. So this is a QR code for you guys to join on your mobile phone. We're gonna do a quiz-driven thing because you guys worked all day, like I just said. So you know you deserve a little bit of fun. So let's learn while we do this quiz. This is just my link tree. Seems very popular here in Brighton, link tree, so that you can connect with me. Happy to answer DMs at any point. Happy to direct it to AWS people internally as well, especially if you are a startup. You know, sometimes you don't get dedicated SA or AM. If you do have those, then of course contact them. But you know, I can help you as well outside of that. And if you're a student or whatever, right? So feel free to connect with me. But that's the one that matters the most. That is how you join the quiz and how we're gonna do this today. And if there's a quiz, that means there are points. If there are points, that means there are prizes. And the prizes are, although you got swag and all that, and apparently 1,000 builder cards, I am going to be giving you AWS credits today, so that if you see anything that you fancy, anything that you want to play with, then you can have those credits to go and try it out. Because sometimes you see things that you're not actually doing at work, right? And then you can set up your own personal account to give them a go, or maybe you want to fund your next POC at work, whatever, be a hero. Do whatever you wish with these credits. Right, so I'm going to leave that one on, and you guys can join at any time, or if you drop out. And you at home, where's the camera? That one? Hello, everyone. So you can join as well. You, right there, right. And I'm going to leave that QR code on at all times, just in case. Now, I need to click. Oh, okay, that's StreamYard. That's not what I want. I actually want the thing. Oh, the thing is here. Okay, there you go. That's the thing. Right. So I want to start by knowing what you guys like. So this will help me also prioritize, since we don't have enough time, right? reInvent, as you may know, is the biggest event that we have every year. And we always release a bunch of new stuff, right? This year, including pre-event, which was the weeks before reInvent, it's an informal thing. We had 596 releases. 596. So I'm not going to be able to get through them all year. There is like a spinning wheel situation. I'll show you in a second. But that means I also need to prioritize to try to hit as many things as you guys may want to discover. So this helps me do that. Helps these guys understand you more as well to prioritize content. So let's see. Right. So you guys love saving money. That's a given. Storage and compute right there. And that's usually what happens in most cities, to be honest. Security, everybody loves security these days. It's fantastic, right? Something that people used to avoid, and now people love it because it's everywhere, right? No matter what you do, you need to know how to make things secure these days, because you don't want to be the next hashtag. Wow, you guys kind of like everything kind of even. Like there was a city where networking was 0. And I was like, why do you guys hate networking? It's literally the basis of everything. There's no internet, there's no this without networking. But people hate it for some reason. And Inference, not surprising, it's down there because people are still not really using Inference, but maybe this will change this year. Right, so I'm gonna show you some slides as we go through it, and just so that you know what this means, GA means generally available, so use it in production, it's ready, it's good to go, you can self-service, and just start using and put in production. Public preview, PP, means that it's there, you can self-service, you can try these things, but we do not recommend you put them in production, right? And usually when they come out GA, they come out from incorporating the feedback loop, you know, from people that used it during preview. So it comes out better, and usually we put more stuff into it as well, like new features and stuff. So wait to get to GA for it to put in production, but by all means, go and explore. P is private preview, but we don't call it private anymore. We just say preview, and that means you have to be invited, or you can ask us to be part of that program. It's like a beta program, right? But you have to kind of match the right type or profile of customer for us to invite you in, because it's a limited thing, so that we can actually improve and take it to public preview. And coming soon, we have announced, but it hasn't come out yet. Simple as that, right? I excuse myself for my cough already. The first thing you guys need to do is join in with your usernames. I do have an offensive filter on. I have not tested it. I do not need you to be my tester. So just be clever, be fun, but don't be offensive, please. And yes, unfortunately, these emojis are kind of assigned randomly, and somebody usually gets the poo one. Oh, okay, good. Because that means that other people won't pick it then. Yeah, but I think you can change the emoji. I'm not sure. You can play it at home as well. So, you know, just join in via the QR code or the link that's on the screen. I'm going to wait till this stabilizes a little bit with players before we get started. Yes, Jan, I love that you love it. So some of you have found there's already emojis here. Feel free to hit an emoji. If you're starting to doze off because it's late at night, I get it, it's Monday. Hit an emoji, wakes you up immediately. And also, yes, there are crying emojis, so feel free to throw me away. Love trolls. Right. Stabilizing at 12, maybe. That's fine. Anybody can join at any time. The QR code will stay there. But let's get started. And the first question is just so that you can practice interacting with it. So are you ready? There's only one answer to this. It's not for points, just for you to kind of give it a go. And by the way, this was my idea how an Essex person says whatever, like transcribed. I'm not sure I actually achieved it. Having said that, when I was in the north of England, I thought that kind of translated to northern as well, but that's just in my head. Right, yes. So 12 of you are ready, so let's go. I know we got this until, what is it, 8, right, that we finished. So do you guys want to do like half an hour, then 5-minute break, then another half an hour? And how do you want to do this? I'm in charge. That is a dangerous thing. Oh, you're good. No, what do you guys want to do? Do you want to have a little break, like half an hour and then a little break? Or do you want to power through? And me? God, I was born without a desire for a break. So you should never ask me that unless we're at a party all night. So what do you guys want to do? Half an hour? Let's do half an hour and see how you guys are feeling. Right. So, dun, 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 stopwatch. There you go. Yes, this is the leaderboard. So right now, no points for that question. You get points from being accurate and also answering the fastest, right? So the fastest you answer, the more points you make as well. And that means everybody has a chance to catch up. Whether you're an AWS beginner, whether a student, it doesn't matter, right? Because there are some bonkers questions in the final lap. So the quickest you do it, the more points you get. And the ones in the final lap are for double points as well. So everybody has a chance to win. I'll turn this around. Let's start with inference. Inference, it's something that surprised a few people because Matt Garman, during his keynote at reInvent, he mentioned that inference is now considered a building block of modern applications. So 4 building blocks now is the way the AWS is seeing this. 3 of them, not surprising, data, compute, storage. 4th one, inference. Because 2024 was the year where we saw generative AI come into production. Hundreds and hundreds of customers now have got this into production. And, you know, generative AI is powering things that you don't even know it's powering anymore, like your day-to-day applications, right? Even if using Photoshop, it's there, you know? So it's something that we are seeing as a pattern coming into every type of application. But what is inference? A lot of people hear the word and go, yeah, I get it, some kind of AI, something. But it's one of those words that's everywhere, becoming a bit ubiquitous, but people are kind of still unsure. Very simple, let me break it down. Machine learning is when you create the brain, you create the AI, right? That's it. And then when you interact with the AI, even if it's ChatGPT and you are asking a question or you are, you know, asking to generate something, that is inference. That's all it is. Inference is interacting with AI. Why is it so separate from machine learning as a phase? Because they are very separate types of workloads, right? So it takes different types of compute, different types of security considerations, different type of network considerations even, and optimizations when you're doing machine learning, when you're actually creating the AI, and when you actually interact with it. So you can separate them for optimization factors, including cost. So inference is just interacting with AI, no matter what the AI is, right? So let's see what we got in store. Right. So first question, oh, there's question 2. Read this question 1. What is model distillation? Don't worry if you haven't heard about it. The whole point is that we learn as we play. So I'm obviously testing your knowledge plus your reading speed in some of them. But who's got time, right, for reading all that? So you got 3 seconds left. Very hard to find out which one is not true. But I do want to pick one. Yes, bloody hell. You guys like just hit the ground running. I don't think there's been any city where the first question was the one everybody got it right. Damn, you're all like inference geniuses. Right. So who knows what model distillation is? Or do you guys just guess? Or do you guys know what it is? Guess? Okay. Model distillation is not an AWS thing. It's an industry thing. It's an advanced fine-tuning technique, right? That's how quick things have been moving, right? So people are barely getting used to fine-tuning. We're already on advanced fine-tuning, and Better already allows you to do that. So it's a very cool concept. It pretty much means that in AI, you got these big brains and you got the small brains, right? Big models, then and small models. Now, you actually want to be working with small models most of the time. Why? Because they are the fastest and they'll give you the lowest latency. And obviously, they are cheapest, right? No matter if you are using a hosted model or if you're hosting yourself, if it's smaller, that takes less compute, less computer stuff, which means cheaper, right? But they're not big brains like the big models, right? So they don't know a lot of stuff necessarily. So what you want to do is combine the best of both worlds. You want to get a big model and you call it a teacher. You get smaller model, you call a student. Then you're going to ask the big brain what you want to know about. Say, for example, insurance. I don't know, everything about insurance. So you put a bunch of questions, ask the big brain, get the answers next to it, get those, give it to the small model, do a little bit of that fine-tuning training, and then boom, you got the best of both worlds. You use that small model now, which has got all the technical specifications that are great, but also very smart on the thing that you need it to be smart about, right? That's model distillation. Now, the thing is, when you actually do that teaching process, when you actually give it to the small model, there is still a bit of stuff that has to happen, right? So it can be a little bit involved, especially if you don't actually get into fine-tuning and all that. So guess what? Amazon Bedrock does that for you now. So what you do now with Bedrock model distillation, you choose a teacher model, you choose a student model, you give it the things that you want it to learn, the questions, and then it will do everything for you behind the scenes. It will just spit out for you a URL. So you literally use it like an API, put it in your application, hit that API, and boom, you are talking to the smaller model, which is super smart. So that can also be a little bit of cost optimization there, you know, if you've been using big brains, but there's no need for it because you only need a subsection of the knowledge. And also, of course, performance and latency and all that. So do check it out. By the way, I forgot to say, this QR code here will take you to the AWS News blog so that you can dive deeper, right? And it's got the whole article. We always release an AWS News blog officially with the launch of stuff, so you can go there and dive deeper or share with your colleagues who may want to dive deeper right there. I'm one of the writers, so you see my face there in some of those. And, you know, like I said, just feel free to go and check it out and share it because I don't have time to go too deep today, obviously. All right, so Mr. Pooh, who is Pooh? I knew he was you, right? I'll consider if you deserve AWS credits if you win, but please feel free to play along. Carlos Fandango. Oh, really? How did I know that? Oh my God, look at you. Just trying to get one up on your community. Right, Nick. Right, Nick and Jimmy McTee and Anita. Anita, there you are. Okay, cool. Plenty of chance for you guys to catch up. Don't worry about it. You're probably all kind of even on points anyway. And by the way, yes, when I hover over it says call, I have no idea if this works. I'll never do it. I'll never try it. No, I will not try it. So if you get some call for some dodgy person, it's not me, okay? All right. Not that I'm not dodgy, but I won't call you. Right, so this is the spinning wheel. So I told you we don't have time to cover everything. So what I did is I just found a way to try to give you as much coverage as possible within the time that we have, plus keep myself on my toes. Do I really know all the 596 releases and announcements? Yes, I do. So I put them all in a spinning wheel, and I just hit the spinning wheel, and wherever it falls is, you know, the one that we covered. If I feel we're doing well for time, and based on your preferences on the poll, then maybe I'll walk up to them to give you a few more. But, oh, no, my audio. Oh, no, I want my audio. No, okay, I'm going to mess things up. No. Oh, my God. Okay, no, forget the audio. Sorry. Ah! Carl, he went to sleep. He hates me and my audio.
There you
Oh, there you go. Oh, my God. Anyway, prompt caching. Everybody excited to hear about that? Once we get... Sorry, everyone over there. We're coming back up very, very soon.
Is that it?
Yeah. Okay, that's super easy. There you go. Never touch anything else again. There you go. I can. Oh my God.
Magic corner bottom left locks the screen.
Oh, right. Any other gestures you may want to add to your computer to throw a loop into this? Oh my Lord. Oh my God.
Yeah.
As in kill the stream? Oh no. Okay. There it
As long
is.
as you haven't killed the streamers.
Although I'm not sure they are participating. I haven't seen anybody from the stream on the quiz. Oh yeah. Let's do some live stream while I barely know how to work a computer. Right. Never move it ever again. Right. There you go. Prompt caching. Okay. I'll walk up to it very quickly. Amazon Nova foundation models, family that was announced by Jesse as a special guest during Matt Garman keynotes. We got 6 of them, 3 out right now, the other 3 coming up. So the gist is you only need text, then Nova Micro. It only does text. super fast, super good, low latency, and super low cost. Now, if you need multimodal, as in not just text and images anymore, videos. I've been saying throughout 2024, 2025 is the year of video for generative AI. And here it is, very good kickstart. So text, images, and videos, you can use Nova Lite. That's your baseline. Facets, low latency, lowest cost for multimodal. And then Nova Pro, not going to be the fastest, not going to be the lowest latency, but very good balance of things with that big brain, right? And then we got Reel and Canvas. Reel for videos. Video generation generates 15 seconds of videos right now. It's super impressive. Like you can actually direct a little video by going like, oh, dolly the camera forward. Like if you're a director and you know these terms, you can actually tell the AI and it creates this video. It's mind-blowing. And then a Canvas for studio quality. I know. There you go. Stop. Okay, there you go. Bedrock Flows, previously known as Prompt Flows. We simplified the name. Now it's just Bedrock Flows. Really good from an architecture point of view for an architect because it gives you an abstraction of generative AI workflow. So who's familiar with step functions? Okay, not too many of you. So step functions like workflows where you go, do this, if it's this, do that, or go here, or do that, or go here, or go here. So yeah, there you go. Read his blog. So this is like Step Functions Workflow Studio, but specialized in generative AI. So you got like nodes like prompts and agents and knowledge bases. And the reason why I mention architecture is because this can abstract your applications away from what happens on the generative AI side. So instead of, for example, on your website, you are connecting directly to a foundation model and going, oh, let me send a prompt to Claude in your code, then you can instead put it here on this prompt flow. And then you're going to get a URL, much like, you know the pattern now, much like model distillation. You just hit that URL like an API endpoint, and you execute this. Meaning you can kind of shift things server side. So you can have like a prompt node, for example, that talks to Claude, and suddenly you want to change the model, you just change here on the server side. You know, your application, you don't need to touch the code, and you can keep adding stuff there, knowledge bases or whatever, right? So really cool. This reInvent, we release things like end-to-end traceability, validation right here on the workflow, that you get like an error if this is missing information and stuff like this. And just, yeah, general improvements in terms of developer experience, plus the ability to put guardrails on the prompt. Guardrails, if you're not familiar with the terminology, is when you want to add safety to your AI workloads, like responsible AI. Meaning, for example, avoid this topic. I don't want my company to be associated with that kind of stuff for branding purposes or reputation, or something a bit further, like, you know, bad words and things like that, right? Cool. Still not on prompt. Caching. Oh, prompt optimization. This one's really cool, very quickly. For certain models right now, but we're definitely going to be expanding to other models. If you go on the either Bedrock Playground or Prompt Builder, which is this thing where you can build a library of prompts and even have variables and all kinds of stuff, really cool. You can have a little magic wand now, which will automatically optimize your prompts. So you guys know about prompt engineering? Have you heard of that? Yeah. So prompt engineering can sound really condescending at first. It's like, it's teaching me how to speak English. Come on. You know, but no, like prompt engineering is all about how to optimize what you send to your foundation models, which is English, but you got to see it as a programming language, right? Much like you see C++, Java to talk to the CPUs, you know, or RAM, that's truly what it's doing. You are using English to talk this foundation model. So it is a programming language. And like a programming language, you want it to be predictable with predictable results and optimized for performance and everything else and cost, right? So to do that, you need your prompt engineering techniques and knowledge. But these things keep changing, you know, the more foundation models come out. So, and they're getting a little bit convoluted, to be honest, like chain of thought and meta prompt with chain of thought and all that. So anyway, the gist is that this will automatically generate something based on prompt engineering best practices for you. So this is the prompt I started with. I just said, please summarize the announcement provided below, blah, blah, and I gave it a variable because this is prompt builder, don't worry about that. And then it would just spit out this. Look at the prompt that I actually spit out. Because it reads my prompt, it knows what I'm trying to do and go, I know a better way of you asking your foundation model this. And for some reason, we are going back to XML tags. I don't know why, but these big brain things love XML. Don't ask me why. So you can see that they have added here some XML tags in between stuff to encapsulate it, which really helps with optimizing that prompt. So there you go. You can just go hit that button and get an optimized prompt, which is awesome. Right. Still not. Oh, I'll just mention this very quickly, just because it's really cool. Automated reasoning. It's really cool for many reasons, but the main one is because, one, we are the first and only cloud provider to offer you this, right? And automated reasoning is a technique in the industry in general used to verify accuracy and veracity of data, right? So it's been used in cryptography and storage and all the kind of those areas, right? Now, somebody internally thought, could we use this to verify truth in English statements, as in mathematically prove that something's true or not? So when we get the statements from the foundation models, we can go mathematically, can we tell if this is a lie? Because foundation models can get very eager, like humans, and start making up stuff when they don't know, right? And that's called hallucinations. And guess what? It does. We can. So this is a guardrail that you can add to your generative AI workloads that will look at the responses coming from the models and mathematically determine if that is true or not. How cool is that? Now, if this is like a very given problem set, so say something like coding standards or company policies, like something that's very finite, knowledge contained, you can actually get it down to 0 hallucinations. Crazy. Now, if it's something a little bit more creative and open, with more open-ended answers, then you can reduce hallucinations, even if you don't get to 0. Amazing, right? Mathematically proving that something's true or not. Amazing. Why can't we do this with politicians? Right, so let's skip forward. We could give it a go. Oh, very quickly, Amazon Bedrock Marketplace. So before, you may know Bedrock, serverless portal to multiple foundation models. We had some given family of models there. But, we had like a finite selection of about 9 family models, including our own. But now we have Marketplace, where now you have hundreds of foundation models. It's still a curated list, but you get stuff from Hugging Face, you get stuff from Cambai and other ones. So you get for all these other places, including 2 weeks ago, we added one here in between the C and E. Can anybody guess which one it is? Deep Seek. Yes. So you can now deploy DeepSeek. That's one of the 6 ways on AWS. You want to use DeepSeek? No problem. You can use that with us because that's always been our philosophy. One model will not rule them all. So new ones come along, by all means, welcome to Bedrock. You have your option, and that's why we are all about options. So yeah, you can deploy DeepSeek via Bedrock Marketplace. Right. And okay, instead of picking a foundation model, you can pick prompt routing, which means automatically we work out if your prompt is better suited for the big brain or small brain. So we immediately route it. It's almost like load balancing before intelligence. And why would you want to do that? Cost, right? Because if you don't need to use the big model for this type of question, then great, you're saving money by going automatically to the smaller one. And it just selects that, based on your prompt. Really cool. So try prompt routers. Right. And prompt caching, yay! That is the one, right? Yes. So prompt caching is just the ability for you to, mostly for system messages, for you to cache part of your the context of your prompt, so that you can just hit it with new stuff, and that cached stuff gets added automatically, right? Why do you want to do that? Again, cost, right? Because don't forget, you pay by tokens, right? Tokens that you send, tokens that you get back. If you don't know what tokens are, they're bits of words, right? Pretty much. Bits of the words you set in, bits of the words you get back. So if you're caching stuff, then you can, try to save up on the tokens that you're actually sending. And you have to use Bedrock Converse API for this, which is pretty amazing, by the way. It's an abstraction over the foundation models, so you only speak one language. One way to make a request, one way to consume a response using Bedrock Converse API, and you will talk to whatever foundation models that it supports. Right. Enough of inference, because it was actually not the most popular thing. So costs, you guys love costs. So let's see how we can save some money. Moolah, apparently, is the slang term for it. DynamoDB has reduced prices for on-demand throughput by, let's see, got 15 seconds. I think one of them is kind of obvious, because if it was true, we would be owing you money every time you use DynamoDB. So, are you sure about that? Are you sure about that? Oh, well, I'll defer that to the group of data scientists at AWS. Right. So, yes, most of you got it right. 50%. Indeed. I mean, this is crazy, right? I love when we do this. we have reduced the prices of on-demand throughput by 50%, literally slashed, right? You don't have to do anything. If you're using that, then your bills have been slashed by 50%. So talk to your cloud ops team or your DevOps team, whoever looks after your costs, and go, hey, I know you guys now are 50% richer, so time for my raise. And also global tables by up to 67%. This is up to, because it depends on the options that you pick, right? Global tables, if you don't know, is the ability for you to have DynamoDB spread across the world without you having to do anything. So if you got users in Japan, in India, in the UK, then they will be connecting to their local DynamoDBs, and that data is replicated for you behind the scenes, which is a hard problem to solve, but it's all done for you so that they can get the best performance by connecting to local stuff, right? And now, yeah, depending on the options you pick, up to 67% cost saving there. All right, John is rocking the longest streak. John and Carl like battling each other right there. Let me remind you, John, he's your boss, so maybe, you know, let him be first. And Saurabh, where's Saurabh? Oh, yeah, there you go, Nick. Nick? Oh, plenty of chance. Look, you're all kind of even there anyway. Right. Another cost optimization opportunity. Which one is a new capability of Amazon SageMaker that can help to reduce costs? I was really generous with time on this one. But yeah, this one was not, it's not too obvious, although it kind of is, if you think about it. Some of those. This would be a warped way of making you save money. Are you sure about that? Well, you know, some people may do. Exactly. And yet 4 people didn't care and picked it anyway. Right. Yes, SageMaker endpoints can scale down to 0 now. So if you use those now, that's very suitable for more variable traffic patterns. Before, not necessarily. If you have variable traffic patterns, you just had to take it on the chin because you had some base cost to it. We figured it out. It's scaling down to 0. Right. Saurabh now is rocking the longest streak. There you go. Knock them out of the top. Right. I don't know why I'm rooting against you. Very aggressive. Which other service is also now capable of scaling to 0? So you got 10 seconds. Oh, I wonder which one it is that you guys are talking about. Woo! Yes, 5 people got it right. So, boom. This is one that has been in the works for a while. When we launched Aurora Serverless, we got a lot of feedback from people, and I certainly heard my share of it. And the feedback was that if you're going to call something serverless, it has to scale to 0. Like, what are you doing, AWS, right? And yeah, the reason why we couldn't is because we got to deliver on a promise that we make to you, right? Of latency, of performance, of recoverability, and all that kind of stuff. And sometimes that takes some lights to have to be kept on. And that creates a baseline cost, unfortunately, because it is cloud, it's pay per usage. So if it's running, then you have to pay for it. So don't worry, we listen to you as usual. We listen to our customers. We figure it out. It's done now. Amazon Aurora Serverless V2 scales to 0. If you're on V1, it's still live and kicking, no problem. But I do recommend you start looking at a migration path to V2, because then you can start taking advantage of things like this that could save you money, right? So have a look at that. Right, so let's see what the leaderboard's like. Yes, you let your boss take over. Oh, how generous. Yes, I need Happy Cat. That's a new one. Who's Happy Cat? All right, Happy Cat and Saurabh, you guys are all doing very well. Right, so in terms of like focused announcements on cost optimization, those are those. As you can tell, there's always a cost optimization angle these days with most everything, just like with model distillation and all that kind of stuff, as I mentioned. But in terms of like we slash prices and all, you immediately saving if you do this or do that. That's it. So I just picked up something for everyone, pretty much stuff that's really hard to categorize. And there is a really nice audit that goes, by the way, so I want you to imagine that. That is a really good one because there's been a little update to this. So yes, during reInvent, we released the console update. So this has been a visual update that's been focused a lot on accessibility and also, well, a bunch of stuff like color blindness, and all those things, but also just pretty visuals as well, like, round the corners and contrast and things like this. And this was applied to all service consoles, not just the main one. But something didn't make for reInvent because it needed a bit more testing, but it made it now in January. So about 2 weeks ago now, I think. I don't know, I'm lost in time. We released something really cool for the console. Does anybody know what that is? Oh, that's old news. Yes, multiple sessions. That's it. So now you can log in up to 5 different accounts on AWS at the same time on the browser without having to faff around. So before, people would use like Chrome profiles or Firefox containers or whatever, right? Now it's actually got the native ability for you to log in. You can log in any different way. It can be IAM credentials, it can be SSO, it can be federated. Doesn't matter how you log in, as long as you log into an AWS account, up to 5, and you just keep switching between them. Now, we are hearing feedback. A lot of people are saying like, it's great, but makes me nervous because if I'm logged into a production account and I cannot switch, it's like, not good. Whereas with Chrome profiles, whatever, we still get color coding and things like this. So great, keep those feedback coming. That's the only way we know how to improve. We know these things, we hear you guys. It's just that we want to release things so people can start using and then improve on them. That's the way AWS does things. So keep a lookout for more improvements. Also, another thing that I'll throw out there that annoys me a little bit about it still, and I talked to the product team already about it, is that it times you out after an hour. So it can be a little bit like convoluted, like you got 5 accounts and you time it after an hour and you have to keep, redoing it. It's for security, makes sense. It's lighting expiration, all that. But, yeah, exactly. So for security, it's a great thing. But for people, they're going like, oh, I have to keep redoing this 5 West accounts all the time. So maybe a bit of sliding expiration there or whatever. But it's exactly, I think probably you are very security conscious, which I love. There is a reason and rhyme for it. It's just that we got to walk the line between making something really neat and useful and something that is secure. So we'll see how that goes. Right. Okay, not enough time. Oh, clock bell is so cool. Oh, I don't have time. Right. Compute. You guys love compute. We do compute and then we break for 5 minutes, then we come back. So let's do compute. Right. Which of these is a new scaling mode available for Amazon ECS clusters? 15 seconds, very generous for this question. And yes, I did run out of jokes. So I didn't. It's barely a joke, isn't it? Fish scaling, but hey, I need to put something. Right, 1, 0, time's up. Jikanda. Yes, all right. Lots of you got it right. Who uses ECS? Okay, quite a few of you. So, so far with ECS, we had more reactive scaling policies. This is our first proactive one. To make sure we're on the same page, what is ECS? ECS is a container orchestrator. Container, why? Because you put, you install the same things and the same libraries, put the same code, and you just take it everywhere, very portable, right? That's why containers. But when you deal with containers, you need orchestrators because these things are small. So, you want to make loads of copies of them as you grow, your demand for your website or whatever it is they're using. And we, typically you have kind of 2 choices here, ECS or Kubernetes, right? Who uses Kubernetes? Yeah, you. Anyway, so ECS is the more opinionated one that we have on AWS, which makes things very simple. So it is very AWS-y way of doing things, but once you learn it, your learning curve is much lower than Kubernetes. Kubernetes is more of an open format, lots of things for you to learn and do. So a lot of people use ECS. It's a very popular one. Kubernetes is as well. Anyway, so what they're good at is scaling, right, your containers. So that's what our container orchestrators will do. So they're going to go, right, you have a website, you got 1 million users right now, you got like 5 computers, and they're all at 100% CPU. So we need more computers. Let's add more computers. And that is called scaling out, right? And if you now suddenly are not using all those computers, it's going to look at it and go, okay, you're not really using them anymore. Your CPUs are like at 20%. So let's remove computers. That's called scaling in, right? Why do you want to remove computers? Because the cloud, you don't want to pay for stuff that you're not using, right? Even if it wasn't cloud, even if it's on-prem, why are you going to be running all that computer power, right? Which is probably still costing money anyway, plus sustainability. So, so it's going to remove those computers, scaling it, right? That's why ECS is really good. at. And that ability to look at CPU, for example, specifically, it's called target tracking, right? That's one of the very popular policies when you're looking at specific metrics and go add more computers or remove computers based on that metric. Now we got predictive scaling. So using AI/ML, it's gonna understand your patterns and ahead of time scale for you so you're ready to go when you need it. For example, if you're a retailer, every year Black Friday happens. So it's gonna learn that and go, every time of that year, you need this many computers. So I'm gonna scale ahead of time for you so he's ready to go right from day one. So really helpful for many people, especially when you need massive scale because there's a ramp up to it. But do not use this by itself, right? Why? Because it's going to add computers, is not going to remove computers. Why? Because it doesn't want to mess with your production system. Just in case something goes off pattern, say Black Friday suddenly this year is 1 day extra, and then your website's going to crash. It doesn't want to do that. So it's going to help you scale ahead of time smartly, but you use that in conjunction with something like target tracking so that it can remove computers, right? It can go, okay, now you're not really using this anymore. Let's scale in. So use those things together, right? And patterns. So it's going to look at your logs. It's going to look at all your ECS traffic patterns and scaling history. Yeah. Mostly your ECS internal metrics. Yes. So it's gonna learn when you scale things, even if it's manual, when you don't use stuff, even if you scale, so it's not gonna actually count. It's gonna go, well, that was for nothing. So it's AI/ML, so it's not like an open algorithm, but it is learning your traffic pattern usages. And it's getting ahead of time for that. Yeah. But of course, all exposed as well, so you can kind of see what it's going to do or what it's doing. So, it's not like, a black box. Right. Dun, dun. So John back on top, wasn't happy, giving Carl the top light, the top spot. Happy Cat coming hot. Saurabh, Anita, you all doing really well. Right. You just had to, right? Which one of these are new EC2 instance types? Pick two. Very hard to know which one are two. You want to pick two for full points, two, right? That's what I'm looking for. And if you pick one of those, my recommendation to you is that you go and watch Star Wars. Yes, Ivan Pedro, you agree? All right, so 3 people need to watch Star Wars, yes. But a lot of you got it right. Yes, we got the new storage optimized instances, the IAG and the i7-IE, and 2 new general GPU purpose instances, the P5en and the P6, which has been announced, but we haven't released yet. But the thing with EC2 instances is that they can look like a bunch of gobbledygook of numbers and letters. So I want to see if you actually know how to read these instances. Otherwise, it's just a bunch of letters, what I'm saying. So match the letter to the EC2 family. Let's see if you know how to read them. It's not that obvious, I'll tell you, necessarily. And it's a mystery why. But hopefully you can get it right. Let's see. You got 3 seconds left. 3, 2, 1. Time's up. Oh, okay. I'm not sure how he reports. It's a bit weird, but I think that means a lot of people got it right. Right. Let's see. Oh, Anita, turn the tables. Where's Anita again? Oh, there you are. Yes, there you go. And Nick also coming in there. Right, so this is a little cheat sheet that I thought I would share with you guys. I'm not sure this is actually on the official AWS documentation. Should be. If not, I'm going to try to make sure it is there, or I'll post on my socials, whatever. But for now, just so that you can have a little cheat sheet, this is how it works. You get EC2 instances. They always start with the family, the letter that represents the family name, then a number that is the iteration, so the highest, the latest, easy, and then a bunch of letters denoting the features, right? Which can get a little bit confusing because on the family side, you can have I, on the feature side, you can have I, and they mean totally different things, right? So for example, we got C7GN.large. So C, compute optimized, 7th generation. G, Graviton, our own custom chipset, which is optimized for the cloud, helps us save money, also great for sustainability because you don't do so much processing. And N, enhanced networking, which for those that are in the know is EFA, Elastic Fabric Adapter. That just means that this instance has, imagine like an Ethernet cable, you know, like those little blue ones, but then imagine like beefed up like that, and then, you know, lots of stuff can go through at the same time. So that's what enhanced networking is. And then dot small, large, extra large. This is just the scaling up, right? In terms of terminologies, when you are actually shopping for computers with lots of CPU and RAM and whatever, hardware stuff. So beefy hardware, like gaming PCs. So so that's how you read that stuff. It's pretty simple actually once you look at it. Don't ask me why, but like I said, it's not really obvious. Like M is not memory, M is general purpose. Memory is R, so you have to think like memory. And then, storage is I, for no good reason that I know of, other than maybe they created this in a different language and then translated to English. I don't know. Somebody told me, oh, it's iSCSI. And I said, you're just trying to be smart. So I don't think it's that. And R as well. Somebody was like, oh, it's RAM. I don't think it is. Right. Let's see. Amazon EKS now allows you to provision and maintain a Kubernetes cluster with one single click. Could that be true? No way. But then again, you're thinking, if this wasn't true, why would that guy be standing there talking about this? So surely there's a reason for this. So hopefully all of you will pick 2, 1. Oh, 2 trolls in the house. Right. Yes, of course it's true. Otherwise, this would be completely pointless. So this is crazy, right? This was one of the big ones to come out of reInvent this year. So we thought, can we put Kubernetes and simple in the same sentence? 2 things that don't go together, really. A lot of businesses have found a use case for Kubernetes, but they haven't been able to get into it. Because if you're a tech leader, for example, you know that it takes more than just learning about it. You have to set your business right. You need to perhaps hire, you need to train, you need to change your observability patterns or create a DevOps team, whatever, right? So there's a lot of considerations and money potential that goes into it. So we thought, yeah, can we actually try to make Kubernetes a bit simpler? And yes, we can. That is what Automode is about. So you go there, you put in some sensible networking stuff like VPC and stuff, some basic stuff. And then with one click, you provision your Kubernetes cluster. Like what? But wait, there's more because it doesn't just create it. Because you may be thinking, I can do that with CDK anyway. What's the deal? It actually does maintenance. That's the crazy bit, right? So you will automatically do your OS patching, your network communications, your network security, your scalability, blah, 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 blah. All the Kubernetes stuff. You don't have to worry about it. But wait, there's more. Because if you already got an existing one, like maybe you guys got in NKS, guess what? You can switch to auto mode, even an existing one, and it would just do everything for you. And then you can just go on an extended holiday because you're worth it. So yeah, do check it out. We have lots of customers working with Kubernetes at massive scale, and they have switched to auto mode, and we've heard great things about it. So far, I've only heard really good things about it. So I really encourage you guys to try it. It's GA already, so you can use it on production ones as well. Sounds so good to be true? Well, it's not. It's just modern times. Right. So Anita, really well done. Saurabh and Nick came in hot. How's Nick again? Is that you? Yeah. Yes. There you go. You're not letting go. Good. Well, you're all doing well. And now I'm going to do one. Should I do one? No, there's not many actually on compute. And you guys loved compute. Maybe we can walk to it. Let's see. Oh, training too. Who trains models here? Right. No one. So great. So we're not doing that one. Let's just walk that up. So for those that use EC2 instead of ECS or EKS, if you just use plain old EC2 instances, then there's also something here within that scalability story, and that is future data capacity reservations. Now you can actually future date your scalability. Same story, kind of like the ECS, predictive scaling and all that. If you know you're going to need something, let's pick Black Friday again in your retailer, then you can now schedule up to 120 days in advance. And then it will create a scheduler. It will schedule the EC2 instances for you and do the scalability, do the scale in, going to remove them and remove the schedule, all done for you. You just need to plan. That's all. And EKS Hybrid Nodes for the Kubernetes ones. You can now use like your spare compute on-prem to add to your EKS cluster nodes. Now, if you're not very good with network diagrams, this can look like a lot, but it's actually pretty simple, pretty straightforward stuff. This is your on-prem. This is your AWS EKS cluster. You're just going to set up that connection, typical stuff, direct connect or VPN site-to-site. And once it's connected and you're running the program on your node on-prem, you'll be exposed to EKS, and then you can just add it to your clusters. Now, some of you may be wondering, Well, we already got EKS anywhere. What's the difference? The difference is that you are running the control plane if you're running it on-prem, right? Whereas if you're running on EKS, you're on AWS, we are running the control plane. You're just adding computers to it that mix and match between ours and yours on-prem. That's it. Now, I didn't write this one, was Anjay, but she did a really good little table here of comparison in this article, if you want to see, which compares if you're running EKS anywhere on-prem, if you're running EKS anywhere on Outpost, or if you're running hybrid nodes on EKS. So you can see, the difference between them. So I do recommend you go and check that out. Right, and then VMware. Anybody into VMware here? Oh, really? Wow. That is more hands than I've ever seen on VMware. Oh, wow. You're the boss, so you should care about this then. So we got a whole new service, VMware service, which can really help you with migration to VMware. Very simple path now. So you actually just bring your VMware, run on AWS infrastructure, all that. If I don't get to it, by the way, just to reinforce, Amazon Q Developer also has a VMware migration thing, so you can kind of work together with this, and it will kind of split into 4 phases of migration and guide you through it as well. So that in conjunction with this, just completely turn the tables on the VMware migration game. So definitely check it out if you need VMware migrations or your customers are migrating. Not a different take. It will bring things in, but it's almost like a template, a map. Whereas before you kind of had to work out the best options or the best way to do things. It does like have a guided process, so it's still customizable to what you need. It's not like a silver bullet, but yes, it's just making things a lot easier is what I can say. Yeah, and this is part of the partnership as well. It's not a standalone thing. So yeah, it's definitely a partnership with VMware, including Q Developer as well. Everything we work very together with them, and the promise is that with that you can actually bring your VMware very painlessly and all that kind of value proposition, and then even already start connecting with AWS services because you are within the AWS infrastructure. But it's kind of like almost lift and shift is the promise there. Right. Trainium 2, you can train stuff very optimized by using our custom chipset. This is for when you're creating the AI, right? Creating that brain. And this will help you do it super, super efficient so you can save money. So let people know, if in case you know people that do that. We already announced Trainium 3 as well coming out this year. So, right. How about we give you 5-minute breaks so you can go to the toilet or get drinks or cold pizza, and then come back 5 minutes. And then we'll finish it up with maybe 2 more categories in the final lap. Yes? So see you in 5 minutes. At home, everyone. So, what kind of applications? 8 p.m. Right. Everyone at home, for still there, we are just gonna power through now. Maybe we'll do two more sections in final lap. Then I promise we're out of here. So I think I'm gonna do security management because you guys said you like security, and there aren't that many of those. So let's resume. Just pick up your phones again, and you should all be logged in, and everything should be as normal. So we have launched 2 new organization policies. What does each type do? So one of them is kind of, I think, obvious by the name, but maybe not. Oh, God, give you a lot of time again. 8, 7, 6. Let's see if we can pick those out. And these are actually very, very exciting releases. We got a lot of good feedback on this, something that people have been waiting for a while. And that is the releases of these 2 new policies, indeed, declarative policies and resource control policies, DPs and RCPs. And these are a simplification story because before you could use SCPs, but you kind of had to work hard to kind of get the right intersection and union of things and rules to achieve some things, whereas this can massively simplify. So let's take a step back. Who knows about AWS organizations? Who uses them? Okay, cool. So AWS organizations is when you just map your company on this service called AWS organizations, and you say, look, this is my company. I got this department which got developers. I got this department which got marketing people. I got this department which got sales people. And on this department where there are developers, department called organizational units, the right term there for AWS organizations, I'm gonna stop these developers from spinning up super expensive computers because we know how developers go. So for that, you use SCPs, right? And SCPs has been existing for a long time now, but with SCPs, you have to pick the principles. So who is doing what that you're going to stop them from doing, right? Principles, if you're not familiar with security terminology, it's just an abstraction of the term the who is doing something, right? Why don't we just say who? Because it may be a human, but it may be a machine, right? So you don't know who it is. You could be a machine-to-machine communication, API, or whatever, right? So it just doesn't matter who it is. If it's human or machine, it's called principle. And with SCPs, you go, this principle cannot do this or cannot do that, cannot create an S3 bucket, for example, right? So it's very interesting in that principle. Now, declarative policies, or DPs for short, is the first type of policy which is not interested in the who at all, right? This works on the service level. So if I tell you, I'm going to pick S3 for the matter of making simple, but this is still not available for S3. You got many options with S3. You got bucket policy, resource policy, all that. But let's say S3, you don't want people to be able to create buckets. Then you could use, for example, declarative policy, say on the service level, no one, I don't care who it is allowed to do this. And that's that, right? So in this case, for example, if you're using with your EC2 instances, you know, you don't want to allow certain EC2 instances to be spun up, then you do that on the service level. One advantage of declarative policies as well is that because it works on the service level, you don't need to keep up with new stuff, right? That action is not allowed, period. Whereas with SCPs, if, for example, we release an API that allows you to do that same thing through another API, you have to keep up with it, you have to revisit your SCP and go, by the way, these people, these principles, cannot also do this via this API or via that API or via that CLI or whatever, right? So you have to keep up with it. With this, you don't have to keep up with it because ultimately it's the consequence. I don't care how you're trying to do this or who's trying to do this, this is not allowed. So it keeps up with it. So really good way of simplifying your security there. And the second way is resource control policies, RCPs. So this is on the resource level, same kind of thought process here, but instead of being on the service level like declarative policies, it's on the resource level. So not say EC2 as a service, but this specific EC2 instances. I don't want to allow, for example, somebody to take an EBS snapshot of this EBS thing because it costs me money and this is just a dev thing and I don't want that to be backed up, right? It's the dev's problem for them to back this up. So this is, for example, something that you can use to say not this one, but that one, for example, is okay. Again, a simplification story. And again, it does not care about the principle. at all, which is something that we always have feedback on, because it was always hard for you to restrict external access. Because when you deal with principals, they have to be within your organization. Otherwise, there's no way to block them. So this could even be external people from the internet trying to do things. Say you made a public, some EBS snapshot public, then, no, you can say that is not allowed. No one can touch that. I don't care if it's from external to my organization or if it's within my organization. So a way for you to simplify that security. You use them all together, right? So kind of the theme here with many things, as you can tell, you don't use this exclusively. You still use SCPs. They're really good in conjunction with DPs, in conjunction with RCPs. So you kind of find that way to do things really simple and keep everything very secure for whatever makes sense to you. Right. Leaderboard. Ooh, zeros across the board. But no tables turned. Anita, doing really well. Right. Next question. So Amazon Cognito has got major overhaul. Have you heard of this? Which of these are true? Choose 3. We're looking for 3. If you want full points, you pick 3. It's incredibly hard to discover which one of those is fake. You have to really think very hard on it. Well, that's what I'm here to do, to disappoint you. Well, there you go. Yes, 2 people are trolling me, or they really believe that we can recognize alien species. No, we cannot recognize alien species yet, but yes, Amazon Cognito is here with a new overhaul. So this is another service that we got a lot of feedback over the years. And we knew about it. The thing is, we have to be very careful, especially with this service, right? Because it underpins a lot of production systems from many customers, small and big, including ourselves internally, because this is the hub of authentication or authorization that we have. So if we touch it, we have to be so sure that we are not messing up, because otherwise your security is compromised. So it's a very delicate service. We knew it was behind the times. We knew there were a lot of features that other, products and services were offering, and we still didn't. We knew all that. We heard you, and as usual, we were working on it. We just could not release it with enough confidence. And when we release it, we release GA. So it's production ready, because it has to be, right? It's what you underpin your security on, and we as well. But if you tried Cognito before, it didn't fit your use case, try again. This is a perfect time for you to give it another go. It may just fit your use case now, or tell your teams, your developer teams, to give it another go, do a little POC. So a few highlights. For example, we have managed logins now. It does everything for you behind the scenes. You just need to drop in your sign in and sign up screens onto your applications, and then the backend is sorted out for you. We also got passwordless logins now. Really hard to say that. When you just log in like via email or SMS, you just click on it. No need for password. We have a whole branding experience now, customizable experience. Excuse me. Something that was really hard before to do was actually to make it look very seamless with your website. It was very jarring visual experience. Now you can customize this as much as you want visually here on this visual editor. Then just bring it to your application, mobile application, websites, copy and paste. We also got a whole new developer experience supporting all the latest popular frameworks, plus the whole new interface there if you want to use that. And we got pricing tiers now to give you options. So you go Light, Essentials, and Plus. Plus adds a lot of security features so that you're shifting that shared responsibility model you may have heard of more towards us, right? That just means that, you guys are responsible for security as much as we are, because we can't stop you from publishing your passwords on your homepage on a website, right? You do whatever you want. But we secure what we can, and that is the shared responsibility model. But of course, the more you buy into things like serverless or managed services or like Plus tier on Cognito, the more you're shifting that responsibility to us, and freeing up time, to maybe look at other security things. That is up to you. So I recommend you go and check it out. Right. Let's see the leaderboard. Right. Ooh, Nick came in hot right there at the top. You guys are fighting for the top spot. Don't worry, like I said, you can all catch up, especially during the final lap. Right, let's see. This one, I'm going to respect the wheel, even if it's silent and mute and sad right now. Guard duty. Okay. So who uses guard duty? quite a few of you, as you should. Really good service. One of those that you just turn on. Oh, actually, let me just mention this because this is a game changer for a lot of people, especially your security teams. So we now got centralized management of root access accounts. So as you may know, every AWS account comes with root account, kind of like Linux, right? You got your root account. But if you go on Linux, on your root account, you see a bunch of red and exclamation marks and all that, right? That doesn't happen with AWS, unfortunately, but it's the same principle. You're not meant to be using, well, oh, the top bar, yes. So you have to be very good at looking at details. I want red all over, but that's just my wish list. Because you're not meant to actually use it, right? You're meant to just save it as your administrator, your God mode for when you need it. But if you only got one or two, maybe you don't appreciate this. But if you got thousands of AWS accounts, like a lot of our customers do, or like your customers do if you're a consultant, then you can appreciate that this can get out of control very quickly, right? Especially if you're not very good with your SecOps and governance and all that. And then some people, they actually deploy stuff on it. They deploy, EC2 instances or whatever, or they add long-term credentials and they put that on their applications, which is crazy. So now you actually have centralized access through AWS organizations. The administrator or the delegated administrator can go into every single root account in your organization to audit it. So you got like read-only access to everything, so you can see what people are doing. And you got write access to certain things, like you can remove long-term credentials, you can remove MFA devices, you can get people out of jail if they forgot their root password, but they blocked S3 on the root level, and then you're kind of stuck. So you can get people out of that situation. Also with the SQS, same thing. And you can also restart the authentication forgotten password flow if you forgot your root password. As before, the only way to do that would be to contact AWS support, prove your identity. It was a whole thing, like with passports and whatnot, and authorities in your company. So all that gone, you can do that now via centralized management root access. But the one that the wheel actually fell on was extended threat detection for Guard Duty. Guard Duty has been getting smarter every year. We release, deep container level for EKS and ECS, and we keep releasing more and more stuff. So it's getting super smart. If you don't know what Guard Duty is, it's a threat detection software, like IDS, type intrusion detection stuff. And you switch it on your AWS account, and it can keep a watch for anything dodgy, any cyber attacks in the making or whatever. But the way Guard Duty works, kind of like an antivirus, it looks at a database, right, of stuff that is known, cyber attacks that are known, and keeps proactively looking for those things. But now, actually using IML, you can actually pick out signals across your AWS account to identify things that may not even be known yet. Just thinking, this is looking a little bit dodgy. Say, the same IP address tried to go on your website in the US, and then the same IP address tried to access an S3 bucket that you host in China, and it's going to go, that's looking a bit weird. Why would somebody do that? And it's going to give you the signals and try to build a picture of that attack sequence, finding MITRE tactics and all that, if you know what that is. And then just kind of building that picture and showing the evidence to you, say, do you think this could be something, right? So you can be on top of things ahead of time. So really good new capability there, using AIML and all that kind of smart stuff to watch for patterns and just be constantly monitoring your stuff. So you can just sleep until something happens, because then you get woken up by something like a security ticket. This is a new service, AWS Security Incident Response. A lot of people use third-party software for this kind of stuff. This is just a way for you to use within AWS, right there. You don't need to procure anything else. If you already got your security incident response systems, of course, go ahead and use it. But the advantage here of this new service is they create security tickets. It will populate with information from your AWS environments. So you will ingest the data information from Guard Duty into the ticket. It will ingest from Security Hub as well, which gives you an opportunity to connect to third-party security tools as well through Security Hub, and that will get ingested through into the ticket. You can do video calls. You can do like, a board thing, like progression of your security ticket, if it's been resolved, looked at, whatever, add the stakeholders in, all that kind of stuff. So like Zendesk for security stuff, right? But with the advantage of being on your AWS environment, getting all that. Right, no one cares about machine learning because you guys are not training anything. A lot of people care about machine learning. Oh my God. A lot of people love machine learning. Damn, I'm being filmed. They do. It's just not in this room is what I meant. Right. So now we're gonna have okay, it's 8 p.m. So how about we do one more, then final lap? So storage or data? Raise your hand for storage. Raise your hand for data. Oh God, that didn't help. I think it was storage. So how about we do one question storage, then skip, then do one question data? Amazon S3 has introduced a new bucket type. What is it called? Maybe you've heard about this. Yeah, I did run out of table jokes towards the end as well. Try my best. Right, 2, 1, time's up. And it is, yes, table bucket indeed. Not tablecloth bucket, trolls. Have you heard of this one already by now? So this is the ability for S3 to have native Apache Iceberg tables. Like, what's the big deal? Well, Apache Iceberg has been coming hot, right? So even if you haven't heard of it, you will hear it throughout 2025 at some point. It's making its way into your blogs, your videos, your documentations, your team meetings. And Apache Iceberg is an industry thing, of course. It's an open table format, which, like Dr. Swami mentioned during his keynote at reInvent, it's super important because it's bringing interoperability and reusability to the industry. Big words just to mean that we know how this industry goes. Like, even when they release SQL, Microsoft has to do T-SQL, when somebody has to do PL-SQL, like, it's really hard to standardize things because everybody thinks they know how to do things best. So Apache Iceberg has, very early now already standardized like big data analytics, right? A way to really save table format in a super performant way using open source formats. It stores in Apache Parquet and all that. And that means that if you use Apache Iceberg, you can use these tables everywhere because everything understands this more and more, right? And now S3 supports it natively. So that means you get the best of S3 as an object storage service with the best of big data analytics, Apache Iceberg, natively into it. And this can be a game changer because you can access this with analytics tools, whether it's AWS analytics tools like Redshift, EMR, Athena, whatever, or your own Spark engines as well, Presto, whatever you want to use, right? So you can really access the data very easily, very performant as well. So do check it out. Some people ask me already, like, oh, does that mean like I can use this instead of Dynamo? No, right? Different paradigms, right? This is meant for like analytics data, so for you to discover your data lakes and all that kind of stuff, right? And make use of that very easily, not to serve database real time, to websites, because requests and throttling and all that kind of stuff, it wouldn't necessarily work. But when I say tables, I mean tables, by the way, nothing fancy, literally rows and columns like that, right? But can deal with huge volumes of data, very performant. And by the way, this is big in itself and foundational as well, because we're already building on top of it. We have 3 or 4 releases that were built on top of this, including Amazon S3 metadata, which is the next question. But in the interest of time, I'm just going to skip to it instead of doing the question. There it is. And S3 metadata, more of even a game changer for many people, is the ability for S3 to immediately, automatically pick out metadata about anything that you store in S3, but also that you modify. So you put a file there, like say a PDF, it can pick out automatically up to 20 fields now. So the file name, the bucket name, the tier type, whatever, right? It will record those automatically. Where? On an S3 table. So that's what I'm saying, we're building on top on those Apache Iceberg tables. And all your metadata for S3 will be there, ready to be explored however you want. Because it's analytics data, because it's S3 tables, that means you can use your analytics tools. You can maybe have a Kibana board, you can have beautiful visualizations, whatever you want, meaning that the discoverability factor of S3 has gone through the roof now, right? So you can really know what's on your S3 by inspecting those. And that is, you can also bring your metadata, like your tags and stuff. So it's not just, for the known things. So it's really, really good. Recommend you check it out. By the way, we released in public preview, which is why it was PP, but it's been GA since last week or 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago. Can't remember. Right. Data. Unfortunately, we don't have that much time. So data. Oh, that was cool though. Oh, good. I wrote that one. I wrote that blog, the launch. So I'm quite close to it. Huh? No, I didn't. No, it's open source anyway, storage browser. Yeah. Right, CloudFront. Who uses CloudFront? Yeah, lots of you. There's been lots of updates. Let me walk very quickly. gRPC now is supported. Yes, exactly. So gRPC, if you don't know, is just a different way of doing networking like APIs. And it's a really good one for if you need to optimize your latency, your performance. It's Google, they do their own thing. They got like protobuf as a protocol, so you got to kind of learn how to deal with that. But it's got its use cases, so do check it out. VPC Orange is really cool. It's just the ability for you now to have CloudFront directly talk to your private resources in your private subnet. Before you had to make it public and then connect CloudFront to it. If you don't know what CloudFront is, just distributes your static resources across the world, right? And because you had to make it public, that means you need to secure yourself. So a bit of code and operation overhead, but also security in a surface attack, not great. Because you had to kind of check, are these people really coming from my CloudFront distribution, or are they hitting that public server directly, right? So you had to look at custom headers, maybe, whatever, some warp logic to make it happen. Don't need to do that anymore. Go CloudFront, straight into a private subnet to, say, your website, whatever you're hosting on your EC2 service, and boom, right? Your surface of attack is reduced without having to do anything. So do revisit those if you got some CloudFront distributions that were public. This can really improve your security very quickly. CloudFront functions update. Now you can rewrite origin at the edge. Sounds a lot if you don't know what CloudFront is, but at the edge just means the computer next to your users, and then you can run some logic there without having to go back to the server to run logic. Some limited stuff, but getting more and more functional. That's CloudFront functions, and now you can actually write origin, just meaning like, oh, you're coming during, let's pick Black Friday again, because I'm so not creative today. You're coming during Black Friday times. Guess what? Instead of going back to the server and showing you the regular products, go back to this other thing that we have temporarily set up to just show you Black Friday products, for example, right? So it's just changing where it goes. And it could be any HTTP endpoint, by the way. And okay, and then VPC resources now can use private link. So you can use resource gateway. It's a new concept where you go, right, I have this website running in my private subnet. I'm going to create a resource gateway, which will say it's port 80 or port, I don't know, 999, running in my private subnet, and it exposes it to your VPC resources, to step functions and event bridges, so it can go straight. And what does that mean? That means it doesn't need to go to the internet and back. That just means private link. It's all within your AWS network. It never leaves. Super secure. Right. I'm going to do one of data. Don't worry about rejoining. It's just because when I jump around, this happens. Okay, last one then. Amazon Aurora DSQL or DSQL, nobody can ever decide, is a new flavor of the Amazon Aurora database, which features a reality and which a fantasy. And I give it 30 seconds to be very generous there, since it's a different type of question. And then we go to final lap, I promise. So we'll be out of here very, very soon. Before that guy comes in and breaks down the door. Go, we walk together in a cluster. All righty, cool. So, yes, Amazon Aurora DSQL or DSQL, whatever, nobody can decide. Was one of the big things that came out of it. Really hard to appreciate. This is a huge engineering feat. It even connects to clock bound and other things. It really is punching physics in the face. So the way we done this is we created a whole new backbone on AWS. We got a whole new backbone internally, a third one dedicated to making this happen. And not just Aurora DSQL, but other things, because you see a theme, if we had time for data, that this has unlocked all kinds of things. So get this. This is a distributed relational database that is serverless, that you can do active-active, multi-region setup with strong consistency, high availability, high durability, 0 single points of failure, and auto recoverability. So really, if it was up to me, I would have called this Amazon Aurora. What else do you want? Because I don't know where we're gonna go from here, right? You know, somebody called me on that. I was like, okay, maybe there's a place to go. So this is pretty much all the stuff were the motivations for the NoSQL movement, right? Because relational databases struggle with doing a lot of scalability and all that kind of stuff. Guess what? All here. Now, does that mean NoSQL is that? No. Different paradigms. We've been talking about purpose-built data stores for a very long time, even within the same application, even within the same bounded context. If you're into microservices, you could have like different databases because your data fits that better, right? So it's all about, now it comes down to the data modeling, or to, for example, with relational databases, you may have still impedance mismatch, whereas with NoSQL, if you're using Dynamo, you have to look in single table design. So what works better for your data for that particular thing, so that it's performant, it's cost optimized, so it's the lowest cost possible, and everything else. But in terms of technical capability and specification, crazy enough, in 2025, now we are living in times where relational databases can do the same as NoSQL databases. You're not limited anymore if you use Amazon Aurora DSQL. And like I said, we created a whole third backbone. We kind of preempted this in 2023 with Peter DeSantis' keynote, but nobody knew where this was going. But internally, that's what this was going. And he talked about how the hardest problem was syncing time, counting time. Who would have thunk? And that was the, internally, we knew, that was the preamble to this. And they revisited that in this keynote. Both Peter DeSantis and Werner talked a little bit more about it. But it's all about synchronization of time. And like I said, just because we don't have time to go through all of them, this unlocked that kind of capability for everything. So DynamoDB now does strong consistency as well on global tables. MemoryDB, multi-region, strong consistency as well. So you can see the theme, because now we are able to just, and if you don't know what strong consistency is, we are able to now allow you to write something in America to a database, and instantly it's available in Japan, for your Japanese users, for example. So you can not have to worry about replication, eventual consistency, and all that. Is eventual consistency dead? No. Cost, right? Always use what you need for what you need. If eventual consistency is fine, use that because it's cheaper, right? So you don't need to over-engineer things. Right, so final lap before I'm kicked out of here with tomatoes or whatever people use in 2025. Right, don't use tomatoes, that's waste of food. Right, observability, everyone. Oh no, please. Like I told you, I'm at the beginning of the week. I need this t-shirt for 3 more cities this week. Right. Oh, dry clean. What am I? Posh. Right. Final lap. Right. Before we go into the final lap, I have a trick for you. And that is the fact that you can download every single one of the slides from AWS reInvent, everything that came out, all the releases, all the updates, by going here to community.aws. If you scan here, you go there. And if you logged in, you see this and the little button to download PDF with every single one of the slides, much like the ones I showed you today, with the QR code as well for AWS News blog, with the deep dive and all that kind of stuff. And this is a website, by the way, that right now you need a Builder ID to go into it. Builder ID is your identity with AWS, not an AWS account. That's not your identity with AWS. That's something for computers, even though it feels like human because you're putting username and password. Nope, it's for computers. This is your identity with AWS. Just easy kind of email, password confirm, and you're done. And we have big plans for it. This is going to change this year into something bigger that I can't talk about it right now. But watch out, end of March right now, if everything keeps according to plan, maybe April. We're going to have big things coming on this website. So a good time to join as any right now. So yeah, do that. And then you can get your thing. If you missed the QR code, whatever, DM me later and I can send it to you again. But remember, community.aws, just go there. Right, Geek Trivia, you guys ready? Okay, here we go. Somebody's ready. Who's that? I didn't see the name. All right. Now, this should give you a chance to catch up. And they're very quick, but they're extremely difficult. So please pay attention and make sure that you are getting it right. It may fry your brain a little bit, but hopefully it's not too much to ask at this time of the evening. Yes, everybody got it right. Then again, you guys got everything right at the beginning. So not impressed. Right, that's it. See, double points as well. Ooh, no turning anything. All right, let's see. Next one. What does HTML stand for? If you're not a developer, you may struggle with this one. You know, maybe a front-end developer will do well on this. But if you pay attention, hopefully, if you rack your brain just a little bit, you can get it right. Okay. Dun, dun. Huh. Challenge. Translate this to Italian, see if it works. Right. Let's skip because we don't have time, and then we'll look at the winners What happens in Star Wars? What is the name of Han Solo's ship? So I just gave up technical knowledge altogether just to make it easy. So 10 seconds, not that difficult. Even if you haven't seen Star Wars, I think you could guess that one name is epic, the other one not so much. Let's see. Yes, one throw in the house. That one's determined not to win. Anita rocking the longest. Ooh, there's been a shift. All right. 2 more questions. So time to catch up still. A person is holding their arms out pretending to fly. What are they? Now, for the uninitiated ones, this is called a charade. And granted, if somebody's doing that, that could be called art, and art is subjective. So it could be anything. But in my head, it is an airplane. All right, 4 people disagreed. I guess you guys are into modern art. All have freaking weird toasters at home. Right. Last question. Now, there's only one answer to this. Only one is correct. So if you want the full points, you got to find the right one, right? Only one answer is correct for this. So pay attention. Let's see if people are observant. No! Come on! Capital letters in the middle. No! Neutral option. Right. So I'm very sorry to ask for this. I know it's really annoying when I'm on the other end. I go, ugh. I removed all the verbose things. It literally is tappy feedback, like, stars. Please, if you can, very important to know that you guys care in Brighton, so I can do this more often. My boss cares. This is your chance to sabotage my raise. Go for it. And I just need at least to show that, people attend these things and they care, right? That is backwards logic. That's not true engineering. Yeah, just to make realistic. Yes. So before I reveal the winners, one thing I want to say, Amazon Q developer team has asked me to share this with you guys. They have a lot of ideas, a lot of things they're working on right now. And Amazon Q developer, if you don't know, is the coding assistant that you or your developers can use. And they want your opinions on it so we can really shape this product the way that you want, the way that you need. This is not a quick one. I saw a few questions, whatever went through with them. But you get AWS credits at the end. So if you want more AWS credits, or great for your company, if you've got POCs going on, tell your developer teams to fill this in, and they got AWS credits at the end of it. And last but not least, AWS Summit London 2025. Yay! Registrations are open. They're free. They are limited. We are the biggest summit in the world. It's crazy, right? Tokyo is biggest, but they have 2 days. We only have 1. And from the 1-day summits, we are the biggest ones. Loads of people. I was just telling somebody over there last year, we had to start turning down people at Excel because they were like fire and hazard, safety, whatever. So really important you guys register because it's so popular. People register very quickly. And if you get to a certain number of registrations, we have to close. So very early on, so you got time, but please do go there. If you miss out on reInvent, it's Vegas, it's a lot, I know. This is your chance, like right here, only up there in London, up, right? Yeah, I'm terrible at geography. Yes. To have a little bit of that reInvent flavor because it's big, right? So many talks, so many theaters, so many activities, so many people. It really is like a mini reInvent, especially here in London. We're very lucky and fortunate. So don't forget to attend, free, right there up the road. Right, let's see what the winners are. 1, John. Yeah, Sarah, well done. There you go. Number 1, John, we ignore, he's just a poo. Pranav. Yes, well done. And Anita, well done, all of you. Like I said, I'll give you $50 for number 1, $25 for the other ones. But if you really are going to use credits, if you convince me enough, feel free to even DM me. I'm more than happy to also give you, as long as you guys are going to use it and have a good use for it. Always happy to support you guys building stuff. Now, that's just my link tree again. Feel free to connect with me. And thank you very much, Brighton. See you next time.
How much wrap up do we?
Do you want to use mine? Yes, that won't look weird at all for the cameras. Yeah.
So I'd usually have slides, but I don't because I was busy. Yeah, we're on. Hello. It says on. It says it's on. There's a light and everything. Yeah, we usually have slides, but I didn't do them, so I'm going to freeball this. We do events every quarter. Our next one's in May sometime, I think. Go to the link tree that was on earlier. You can find out. You can sign up. It should already be live. There's a CFP in there as well if you want to come talk, because, you know, much as we love Matheus, we can't get him down 4 times a year because that's a bit ridiculous. And you don't want to hear me prattling on about stuff either. So someone volunteered to do something so I don't have to do this. That'd be great. Thanks. I think that's it. Thanks very much.